It may be weird to have an episode all about how I've lost 20 pounds, but there's a lot here around the struggle, why I wasn't ready, when I was, and also my experience now that I have lost 20. So listen up to this episode. Hello, lovely dynamic women, and welcome to the Dynamic Women Podcast. I am Diane Ralston, your host. And yeah, I'm going a bit personal today to talk about how I lost 20 pounds. Less about the how I did it and more about just the fact that I have. My weight is not normally something that I would broadcast in a public forum like this. However, there have been so many learnings, and I feel like the vulnerability that it takes to talk about my weight, as well as kind of these insights, can definitely help you, my listener, whether you have weight to lose or you don't. There are still some really great learnings that could be had here. So I'm going to go through kind of what had me not be at my healthiest, why I didn't start right away, what helped me to actually get going, and how things are now. Does that sound good? Okay, let's jump in. So why was I unhealthy? Well, I have had kind of a crazy few years. I know everyone has with COVID, but if you've been listening to my episodes, then you would have heard kind of some of the stuff that happened. So, we had COVID happen. I had to cancel a whole week of work out in Ontario. It was a six-figure week, multiple six-figure week. That was what we were kind of on track to do. Then my father went into then my kids were at home because of COVID. I had to completely pivot my business, be only on mainly online or only online rather than live events. Then my father went into palliative care. Then he passed away 7 days later. Then I stayed in Ontario to support my mom and kind of do the whole funeral arrangements and stuff, clear up my dad's stuff. Then my Facebook account was disabled. And this is all while the pandemic was going on. And I was then having to redo so many things in my business because of my Facebook account being shut down. So it was a stressful time. And I went and saw my naturopath, and we determined that me then also having to or focusing on changing my eating habits at that point wasn't the smartest idea. There was already too much stress happening in my life, that having one more thing to control, one more thing to focus on, another thing to almost be constricted by, just it wasn't the right timing. Plus, to be honest, I didn't have the emotional bandwidth to deal with that. And that kind of wording, that emotional bandwidth or emotional stamina, one of them came from the Grief Share program I did through my church, which is amazing. It's like $20 for the book. Just kind of putting a plug in there if you want to take it. I took it twice. It was really, really helpful. And I didn't have the ability to deal with it. One more thing to manage wasn't possible in my life. I was super overwhelmed. And if you're wondering about oh, what do I do when I'm overwhelmed? I did just do an episode that is the 3 ways to prioritize during overwhelm. Check out that episode. So that's the kind of the why I was unhealthy. And, there's other stressors and that, but there were so many layers of stress that I just couldn't get around it. And the idea of having to restrict my eating felt overwhelming, felt like too much. So that's the kind of where I was at. And I'll share, I was the heaviest I've ever been in my entire life, even when I was pregnant, heavier than when I was pregnant. And this episode is not meant to shame anyone who has gained weight, or anyone who's at their heaviest, or anyone who's struggling with weight. This is just my story of my experience and what I went through. And I didn't like how I looked. I didn't like how I felt on the soccer field. It was really hard to do what I was doing. I felt in life very self-conscious of myself and just couldn't catch my stride in I had many injuries at soccer. That was another reason why I wasn't at my healthiest, because it's really hard to be fit when you have multiple injuries, one after another after another. So I knew that I wasn't able to do it in the past. I did keto, and that was really helpful, but it was also super restrictive. And I had really great motivation and support at that time. And I didn't have the same motivation to do it with everything that was happening. So what changed it for me? Well, I eventually really hurt my knee playing soccer back in May 3rd to be exact. And I decided at that point, they're not going to do surgery. It's a lateral torn meniscus. They're not going to do surgery yet. There's no real way to heal it and fix it. And so the only thing I can do is be kinder to my body by reducing inflammation, and also by dropping some weight, because, as you know, I said to the doctor, oh, I know, like 1 pound of extra weight is 5 pounds of extra pressure on the joint. And he said, it's actually 6. And I knew that I needed to drop weight at that point. And so he said, if that's something you can do, then do it. And so what I did was I reached out to a nutrition coach that I know from my hometown. She's been a client of mine, been in the collaborative books. She's a good person, right? And I've seen the results. She has worked with a couple of my rugby friends, and yes, rugby friends. I used to play rugby, pretty high level as well. And I knew that she got them results, one for fitness competitions and one for just health and feeling better. And so I paid the money and signed up. And I knew I needed the accountability. I knew exactly what I needed to do, right? I know how to eat. I know how to eat well. I know how to exercise. I know how to do all of these things. But the truth is I wasn't doing it. So again, as I said, this doesn't have to be an episode about weight loss. It can be an episode about what in your life are you holding back on doing? Are you procrastinating on? Or are you just frankly not doing anything about it and you want it, but you're not doing anything? I know that for sure for me, I needed someone with a no BS approach to be able to hold me accountable. Right. And so I have coaches in my life. I have mentors. I have advisors. I have people that I go to. I kind of call them my team. And so I go to them in order to help me, support me, guide me, keep me accountable, help me be committed. I know that with soccer, I did another episode. We'll link these episodes in here so you can just easily go to them. I talked about how having a coach really helped me to get serious about soccer again. And so I needed to be serious about my weight loss journey, I guess you could say, or I want to say more my healthy journey. And so I dove in with a specific eating plan. People are kind of feel cautious about asking me about it. I've had a lot of people compliment me who know that I'm on this journey, and other people who don't know I'm on this journey and feel awkward about saying something. And so it's okay to say something to someone who has lost weight. And they never said like, whoa, you lost weight. They'll say, wow, you look great. And so then I go in and talk about my journey that I've been on. So I dove in head first into the program. Just so you know, if you're contemplating this, it is eating healthier, yet there are what I like to call some crutches to help you along. I am not hungry. There's so much food that I'm eating and I feel great. And my cravings, that's the thing. My sugar monster was so powerful. And emotionally, I didn't have other things supporting me. Yes, I had a counselor, but I can't call them up every time I want to like eat a donut or drink a beer, right? So that's another thing. I gave up alcohol just for now, right? Patio season's different. I gave up gluten as well. And so having this support has really helped. And it was something I was craving, when I jumped on the call with her to see if this was a fit. I bawled like a baby. I was just so ready to have the support and so frustrated by how bad I let it get. Like really how bad I've let it get, because I have been fit my whole life. I have been an athlete my whole life. And when you take injury and weight gain and then lack of ability on the field, I don't feel like an athlete anymore. Now it's going to come back. I know I'm getting there. So anyway, I'm in this program. She gave me the option of like 12 weeks, like 3 months or 6 months. I took the 6 because I know that for the amount of weight I wanted to lose. And if people are going to come at me for like, you need to say release. Okay, release, I don't want it back. But I'm going to just keep saying lose. So the amount of weight I wanted to lose, I knew to do it in a healthy way, it was going to take more than 3 months. Like, let's be honest, I could probably, my ideal would be to drop 80, but I think I'm going to be happy with like 60, right? And so I'm 20 in, you'll get more, results from me. But the key thing is I wanted to do it in a healthy way, in a realistic way, and in a way that wasn't going to cause more stress. Because the problem is my hormones are out of whack, my cortisol's high, my body has not been able to kind of rebalance itself since all of the craziness of the past few years. And I can't handle as much as I used to handle before. I've had anxiety, and I'm going to do another episode on that. If you want me to talk about it, and if you have questions about it, please comment and let me know, and I'll share more in another episode. I'm thinking about doing it, and I'm not totally sure I'm gonna, but let me know if you want to hear it. So with this, it's been a journey, right? I'm on a 6-month journey. How far am I in? Let me see. I'm actually looking at my calendar right now. So week 8, week 9, 10, 11 weeks. So I am at like the 3-month mark, and I knew that I'd be able to drop in 3 months 20 pounds. And so in another 3 months, I'll be able to drop another 20 pounds. And then I know that I've got it to a point where I can manage it, right? So when we think of change, there are 5 stages of change. You can Google this if you want. If you have my book, Dynamic You, then I talk in more depth about the 5 stages of change. So there is that stage of like, I don't think I have a problem, or I know I have a problem, but I'm not going to admit I have a problem, right? That's in that pre-contemplative stage. Then we get to the contemplative stage where you're like, I think I might, maybe I want to do this. Maybe I'm going to get into it. You're weighing the pros, you're weighing the cons. I was in that place for a long time. Like, I know I want this, but I don't know, it just seems too hard. And then we move into preparation of like, okay, I'm going to do this. And so that was me reaching out to Nicole. And if you want an intro, then let me know. I'll introduce you. Then it was that piece of like, okay, I'm going to reach out to her. I'm first going to look at her website. I'm going to look at her Instagram. I'm then going to get her lead magnet. I'm going to reach out to her. I'm going to have a conversation. Then it was like, go time. We're doing this. Then you're in action. So I'm making it happen. I'm eating better. I'm logging my food. I'm drinking more water and such. And then we move it into lifestyle. It's just, you maintain that. Well, I know I'm going to keep going, but at that point, it's just who you are and what you do. And with a little bit of like, okay, maybe I'll have a glass of wine here, and I'll have a little bit of bread or cake here. Mainly I'm gonna stick with it so I can reach my goal of eventually 60. Now, why does this matter to me? It's funny, when I told my team we were having a potluck party, and the socials, there's always alcohol, there's always yummy appetizers. And so I sent them a message. I said, hey guys, I just committed to working with a health coach, and I am going to be not eating a lot of your delicious food at the potluck. I'm not going to be having any drinks, and that includes straight up alcohol or 0 cal or 0 sugar drinks. I'm not having none. And it's not about having a summer bod for me. It's about having a soccer body, a body that is able to play soccer. And I'm happy to say that in July and now into August, I have been able to do some soccer. Now, not at the level I want. I'm still not 100%, but I'm able to actually be on the field. Now, did the doctor say I should do it? No, he said I should stop soccer. But if I'm really like, it's a joy for me, then to do it, but just realize that I'm aging my knee. And so I'm taking that responsibility. Well, this is where I'm at. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, go ahead. But just kind of as I summarize, I just want to let you know that if you're in contemplation and you think maybe you want to do it, but you feel like it's too hard, I'm going to say that that's okay. That's okay. You maybe aren't ready, but spend some time just reflecting on what would help me. Is it having a coach to help me? Is it having an accountability buddy? Is it joining a program? Is it committing to people? Like, what is it that's going to really help you to get what you want? Whether it is in business, like writing your book, launching your podcast, having a new team member, like a VA on your team, like what's going to help you get there? What's going to help you on the other side to decorate your home like you want it to be, to get over that addiction, to parent better? Like, what is going to help? Just ask yourself that question. If you have Dynamic You book, look in the pillar that has the 5 stages of change, and you can kind of learn more about that. The other thing I want you to know is if you see someone around you changing their behavior for the better, can we please applaud them? So if you have noticed a difference in me, applaud me, acknowledge it. I have had people at soccer acknowledge me because they know, people at my church. Where else? People, my neighbors, like my neighbors that aren't really my friends, my neighbors, and friends. People across the street have said things, just people have said things, and it is encouraging and it is motivating. And it tells me, because I look at myself sometimes and I'm like, oh, I'm still not where I want to be. Having that external acknowledgement and feedback is so encouraging. So say it. And you don't have to say, wow, you've lost weight. You could just say, you look great. You look healthy. You look lively. You look energetic. You seem happy, whatever it is, right? You can say those things and it's okay. It doesn't have to be a secret, right? It doesn't have to be a secret, but encourage. And on the flip side, can I please also ask you to not push things down their throat that they don't want, right? And so I went to another event with food that I couldn't have, with alcohol I couldn't have. And some people, when I said, no, thanks, like, would you like a piece of cake? No, thanks. Oh, come on, it's delicious. No, thanks, I'm not eating cake. Oh, just a little piece. No, thank you. I am not eating the cake because I am trying to lose weight to make my knee better. Like, don't make me have to say so many times. And yes, I know some people will come at me and say, no is an answer. You don't have to say more. But when they're people that are like pushing, the only thing that they're going to stop with is a reason, right? And so I am unapologetically saying no to things. And I showed up at the potluck, the first one, with my own like chicken thighs, because I knew I would not get enough protein. And what I brought was a platter of vegetables so that I knew I was covered. And so be unapologetically yourself if this is the case. And please be supportive of other people, because I'll tell you, this is one of the hardest challenges that I've had to deal with over the past, right? Even saying yes to do it was extremely hard and emotional. I'm in a better place today. And I just wanted to share that with you. Maybe some of this resonates with you in the weight area, and maybe, or the health area, and maybe some of this resonates with you in another area of your life. No matter where it is, I'd love to hear from you. If you have questions, comments, please pop them below. Share with a friend who maybe needs to hear this message. or just to turn them on to this podcast. If I can support you in any way, please reach out. My email is diane@dianerolston.com. Until next time, guys, make sure you subscribe, hit like wherever you're checking this out, and stay dynamic. Take care.